Hi, I'm Carl and welcome to the second part of Sense of Design in Mobile Application. So today we're gonna teach about typography. Mobile apps are often used on the go and all the limitations associated with the screen size, glares from the sun, various visual impairment among users make typography become one of the most important aspects of a mobile application design. So here are the guidelines for all three major operating systems, the Apple, Google, and the industry standard. Apple Human Interface Guideline recommends a setting of minimum size for body text to be 17 points, while Google Material Design Guideline recommend it for 16 points. The WCAG 2.0 standard recommend a minimum size of 18 points. Headline size. In recent years, it has become very popular to use large headings in digital typography. The headline acts as an anchor element of the page. They look contrasted with the main text. We need to choose a headline size both contrasting with the body text and fitting on average 2 to 3 lines for the best result possible. This image shows the comparison between an adequately sized headline versus an oversized headline. The next part is contrast. The background and text contrast ratio are very important parameter of application design. You need to make sure that the text you place over the image has sufficient contrast. You can also provide two options for placing text on the light and the dark background. And lastly, you will need to follow the WCAG 2.0 contrast standard. So from here, you can clearly see that the right side with a higher text to background contrast ratio will have a clearer text while the left side is a low contrast mass. The next part is system font. System font will make the design of your application more consistent with the operating system. But using the system font will prevent you from getting a unique look on your application. So the default font for iOS devices are San Francisco and New York, while for Android it's Roberta. The easiest way to add accent and a unique look for the typography is using a system font board for the body text and a non-default font for the headings. This combination will always look interesting and fresh. So choosing a non-default font for headings will usually be more appealing when compared to the same system font for both heading and body text. So the next part is white space and margins. Mobile devices has a very limited screen size, so you want to fit as much text as possible within a single visible screen. You don't have to reduce margin between text blocks to fit in more contents as it will break the hierarchy between different text style and blocks and will make the text harder to read. To solve it, we can compose the layout so that part of the content was above the fold and showing the user that there is more content and encouraging them to scroll down. So from this example, we can see that by composing the layout so that part of the content was above the fold, it encourages the user to scroll. So here's the reference point. For more information about typography guideline of respective OSs, please refer to the link above for Apple and Google. So the next topic is iconography. Iconography is a visual language used to represent features, functionalities of content. Icons are meant to be simple and visual elements that are organized and understood immediately. When you compare this picture below, which one has more clarity and readability? So for the camera, I think that the bold and geometric logo on the left is clearer than the stripy one. And for the like button, the left one has a more consistent shape and more recognizable shape compared to the right side. So there is 7 principles to icon design. The first one being clarity, readability, alignment, brevity, consistency, personality, and ease of use. So the first part is the clarity aspect. So this is the instrument cluster of the brand new Toyota Prius. In this flurry of symbols, which one is clear to you? So here's roughly how they stack up for me. From the left is from clear, to the right is hazy. So when the icon uses an unfamiliar metaphor, it's hard to understand, such as the seatbelt reminder light, the third one on the left, from the left, is quite literal and we can grasp it quickly. While the one on the far right, the electrical power system warning light, is far hazier and unrecognizable. So when most successful, icons are not only easy to understand for one group of people but universal across culture, ages, and background. Consider your audience and use metaphors and color that resonate with them. The next part is readability. So the screenshot above is a screenshot from the Transit app. Their clipboard icon reads as a block because the space between the board and the clip is too small, and a slight adjustment will make a big improvement to it. So when working with multiple shapes, leave enough spaces between them. Thinner stroke and more of them will make the icon busier and harder to read for the end user. The third part is the alignment. In this play icon, though the triangle is metrically placed in the center of the circle, our eyes read it as off-kilter. The wider part of the triangle feels heavier than the point and is tipping toward the left. In order to make the icon balance, you can shift the element over a bit and it looks better. So conclusion is, don't simply trust the number, use your eyes to check your work. The next is brevity. Brevity is apt for icon design since we are often working in small canvases. Use the right amount of detail for your icons and don't use more than what you need. So from the icon above, the left one shows an overly complex book icon and the right one is a simplistic take on the same icon. As a result, the right icon looks simpler and clearer to the user. So with application icon, which represent mobile, tablet, and desktop application, the right amount of detail might mean more depth and color. And because viewers understand their context in mobile, home screen, docs, and app store, the icon can be more expressive of the brand and product. Next is consistency. In order to achieve a harmonious relationship between an icon family, you need to maintain the same stylistic rules throughout the icon pack. So, on the right is the iOS icon pre-iOS 13. It was consisted of all sorts of strokes, fills, and sizes. When you squint at this set, some icon feels heavier than others. Any given icon has a certain visual weight, determined by the parameters like fill, stroke thickness, size, and shape. And keeping these parameters the same across a set will build consistency. Maintaining consistency isn't an easy task with a large icon family, especially with multiple authors involved. It is critical to have clear principles and rules to follow. Next is personality. Every icon has a set of flavor. What makes it unique? What does it say about the brand? What mood does it create? So for example, the Wave's chunky color icon on the right is quirky while these Twitter icons are soft, light, and crispy. The last part is ease of use. An icon set isn't done after being drawn to perfection. It requires further testing and preparation to make sure it's easy for contributors to make new icons, designers to use them in their design, and engineers to code them into production. A quality icon set is organized, well documented, and tested in context. So why do we use icon? Because icon exists to facilitate better, clearer, and faster communication. Icon can also convey ideas more quickly than word and often take up less space. Icon has good usability and adaptability as they work for both touchscreen and mouse input. And it's easier to create brand recall and a consistent brand image with icon. Icons also break language barrier and communicate the message effectively. And lastly, it enhances your design of your program. So how to use an icon pack successfully? So first part is do not reinvent the wheel. Familiar icon work the best. The icon should be fast to recognize. So we must use the icon that people have seen and used before. Next, icons should always communicate meaning. Do not overuse them or use them for decoration. We also need to apply the 5-second rule where if it takes more than 5 seconds for the user to think of the function of an icon, it will probably be ineffective. The icon must also visually describe the function and the purpose. Make them simple, familiar, and meaningful. You always need to have at least 1 cm by 1 cm margin in between icons for legibility and easy tapping on mobile devices. Lastly, use a single icon set and ensure that all your icons are consistent and cohesive. So from here, you can see, although these two images may look similar, the inconsistent use of fill on the left draw the eye to the icon with the fill shape, which is the video, mail, and photo application. A consistent visual language, however, such as the one on the right, allow the user to become familiar with the visual cues you want to find. So, and this is the end of part 2. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.